let's discuss motivation. This is something that comes up all the time. I hear it from multiple people a week where they say things like, boy, I wish I was motivated like you. I wish I had your motivation. Or I really want to reach this goal, but I just lack the motivation. I can't get up in the morning. I can't stay on track. I just fall off track over and over again because I lack motivation. And there are so many people that think and truly believe that certain people are more destined for success or are born more motivated than them because they're not able to attain their goals or achieve their dreams like other people they see. And here's the thing is, we're all destined for greatness. We all are capable of the same thing. The reason why most people don't reach their goals or don't even know how to set goals is because they don't know why they're doing it. And I'm no expert at it, but I come from a long history of being on a path with no purpose. I was just going through the motions, doing the things that I thought I was supposed to do, what was expected of me, but I really didn't have a sense of purpose. There was no passion behind what I did. And it wasn't until I got into health and fitness and started surrounding myself with other people who I deemed highly motivated that I understood what the secret of their success was. And that is knowing why they're doing a certain thing. And I heard something on a podcast recently, and there was this gentleman who was an entrepreneur, and he was just pretty much kicking ass at all aspects of life except for his health, and he kept ignoring certain things, and it came down to him having to go to the doctor, have some scans run, and the doctor was a straight shooter. And I love people like this that just asked him, hey, do you have kids? And he's like, no, but my wife is 6 months pregnant with our daughter. And the doctor flat out said, do you want to be there to walk your daughter down the aisle? And he was like, of course. He was like, well, if you don't change your lifestyle, if you don't start taking this seriously, you won't be there. And he went on to, asking questions like, do you want somebody living in your home that you've worked so hard to build and sleeping next to your wife in the future? Because if you don't, then you should take action now. And that, it was a compelling factor for him to get off his ass and start doing the things he needs to do. And he shared that at 4:00 in the morning when he doesn't want to get out of bed, when he doesn't want to go to the gym, when he doesn't want to do the things that are necessary to ensure that he is there for his daughter to walk her down the aisle and that he is going to be able to maximize the time with his wife. He thinks about these things. And last weekend I was at my friend's house in Dallas, and we were kind of discussing, the topic of motivation. And so many people say, oh, I can't do that. And everybody says they can't do something until they try it and succeed, or know somebody who's done it, and then they follow those action steps that they saw that person do and realize that it's, is possible. So a little history on me. I grew up with a mother who never worked outside of the home. And while she did a great job, maintaining the household, I can look back and see that is, there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom, but whenever everything is wrapped up around your child or children, when they're gone, you don't have any purpose. And I know that she was always, super frugal, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but because she wasn't contributing to the household and there was, a lack of purpose there. And I wanted to be the opposite of her. And by all means, I'm looking at my 38 years of life and I've done everything opposite of her. But I knew I wanted to work outside the home. I didn't want to ask a man permission for anything. I didn't want to feel like I owed anybody, something. And I obviously grew up in a different generation than my mom did. And so it is common for women to work outside of the home. But with that, with anything, there's always something that you sacrifice. And for me, I sacrificed being there for my kids. And what I found was I missed some super, important events, field trips, little award ceremonies, class parties, field days, all these different things that other moms got to do. And I remember once social media, took off, I remember being at work during the summer. I remember seeing other moms there with their children and being so envious. And then that would just turn into anger of, why can't I do this? And it was just a whole bunch of emotions that weren't really productive, but just left me angry and bitter. But I was always, very thankful that my husband was self-employed. He was always there to fill in. He was the one that took the kids to the orthodontist appointments. He's the one who took care of them whenever they were sick. And the same with my ex-husband. He was always the one that always picked up the slack. And so I wasn't really lacking, but I didn't get to be that person. And I accepted it, but it still sucked. And so when I had my daughter, I was 18, and I just remember thinking, wow, when she's 18, I'm going to be 36. I'm going to be double her age. And when she was around 14, she said, for my birthday, I want to go skydiving. I remember calling to, surprise her and get that as a gift for her upcoming birthday. And I found out that you can't go skydiving, even if it's, assisted with a instructor strapped to you, until you're 18. So I said, if you're, still interested in doing this at 18, then that will be your gift. And I thought that she would change her mind. I thought that she would chicken out. I thought that, that there's no way that she's going to hang on to this for 4 years. Well, her 18th birthday was approaching, and she still wanted to go skydiving. And I remember, looking for a, skydiving company close to us in the Houston area or Austin area to be able to purchase it. And the deal always was that I was like, there's no way I'm doing it. But my husband was like, oh my God, I want to do this with you. And so it was going to be where she wasn't doing it alone. She was with my husband. But as we got closer, and as I got, started making the arrangements to purchase, the skydiving for her and him, I was like, I want to be there. And I didn't really want to jump out of a plane. I am deathly afraid of heights. Like I literally, it's so irrational that if I'm watching a movie, even like an animated movie, and they look over the edge or there's anything with heights, I literally just get like tingles from my toes up to my waist, and I sometimes feel nauseous. It's ridiculous, my husband thinks, but I'm deathly afraid of that. I don't like flying, and I don't like flying in small planes. But I remember thinking, like, God, I want to do this with her. Like, this is kind of like our last shot. Like, she's 18. It would be so monumental to do this. And I just remember thinking, like, if I send my husband with her, it's just that last thing that I'm missing out on that he's doing in place of me. And maybe it means nothing to her. Maybe it will never mean anything to her. But it meant something to me. And I get emotional every time I talk about this. But it was just like this monumental moment that I wanted to do that with her. I wanted to be with her. I wanted to, experience that with her. And like I said, it was just a monumental thing on her 18th birthday that I got to do the thing with her. And I showed her that she was, worth it, that I could be brave, that I could step outside of my comfort zone. And so I pressed, order or whatever, and got 3 tickets or whatever you call it for all 3 of us to go skydiving. And I just kind of put it out of my head. But as it got closer, I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I just told myself, I'm going to do it. There's no backing out. Like, this is going to happen. And I remember going up the plane and just being terrified, but making sure that I was just like, there's no backing out. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And I did better than I thought, but like, I'm telling you, it was one of the most terrifying, but most exhilarating feelings ever. But we did it. We jumped out of the plane together, and I survived. I didn't pass out. I didn't pee on myself. I didn't poop on myself like I've heard people doing. Like, I didn't throw up. But I did it. And like I said, I don't know whether she gives a shit or she'll ever give a shit, but that was one of the most important moments as a parent for me, and just really showed how far I'd come and how, important it was to be there with my kids. And I did it. I faced this huge fear. But now that that's over, even though I know that I can do it and I survived, and I mean, my husband has said, Mindy, it's not like you're going to die doing this, because those instructors want to live. They don't want to die. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But now that I don't have that motivation of being there with her or, whatever, like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I don't want to. Could I do it? Yes. But this is just an example. When you have the right motivation, you can do the things you need to do. When you have the right motivation, you can blow past your fears. When you have the right motivation, you can focus on the outcome instead of everything that needs to be or anything that stands in your way. And so this is the thing, is that I'm not any more motivated to be on this fitness journey or weight loss journey or health journey than somebody else. It's just that I know why. And I focus on that every day, that I want to show others that they can do it when they don't think they can. I want to show my kids that it's important. I want to set the bar high for those who are watching me, namely my family. I want to live not only a long life, but a long, healthy life. I want to be there for my family. I want to enjoy it and have a good quality of life. And so everybody's different, but I was speaking to one of my coaches today on my team, and she was saying that she was like, I look pregnant, and her child's over 1. And she was like, I could sense that's something that she's uncomfortable about. And I was like, there's your motivation, And so for many people, you need to tap into what that pain point is, what that thing is that you're struggling with, that thing that eats away at your confidence, that makes you feel like shit, and focus on it. And there's things you can do to remind yourself, putting up maternity pants, putting up a picture of yourself, whatever it is. And that's why somebody like me comes into play, is that we can work through these things together, because what motivates you might be defeating to the next person. But I wanted to share with you, no matter what, you can do the things that you're telling yourself that you can't do. She was also telling me that she's like, I always mess up with the meal plan. I was like, you know what? We've been doing this accountability thing where she's journaling things. I was like, from now on, I want you to write that I can follow the nutrition plan effortlessly and easily. Because when you change your words, you change your thoughts. Your actions can never go against what your thoughts are. And then once you get those, belief system going, once you get that going and the actions start falling in line with what you're believing and what you're telling yourself, then that becomes your reality. I found that when people say I can't do something, then they'll never take the steps, because they've already programmed their mind that it can't be done. And you don't necessarily need the results to find the motivation. You just need somebody like me to believe in you, to be in your corner just enough to push you so you start believing yourself, so that you start taking action and get closer to your goals. So I challenge you to really think about the stories you're telling yourself. Think about what is standing in the way between you and the you that you want to be. What stories are you telling yourself that you can't do? I'm not a morning person. I've never been, into exercise. My family's this way. There's so many excuses I hear on a daily basis from people that I'm sure that you have used and maybe don't even realize it, but it's holding you back. So I'd love for you to share with me, send it to me in my inbox, what stories you're living by, and maybe you don't know and you just need somebody to talk it out with to figure out what's holding you back.